Oh, so here we are. And this was much easier than the top 13 songs. I mean, I don't know how I landed on 13. But what I would have done quickly, one amendment to that list already, is I would replace Light with Hood. I don't know how I didn't have Hood on the list. Hood was honorable mention. It was there. And I'm a big Light guy. You're not going to find a bigger Light guy than me. But Harry Hood should have been on the list. Light, you got to take a back seat for now. But tonight, much easier picking my favorite shows that I've attended. Somebody asked for my favorite shows, and that's tough to do, man. They've had such a long career, and then you start talking about shows from the late 80s, 90s, early 90s, mid 90s, even 1994 just seems like an eternity ago now. So, you start busting off your favorite shows. A lot of them, it's just like a different time, man. It's all just tripping on the past. No sense in that. But favorite shows I've been to, much more, kind of more of a modern era. My very first show was actually one of the greatest shows. Interestingly, on Phish.net, my very first show in 1999, and then my last show, most recent show, perhaps my last show, 2019, Alpine, the two highest rated, kind of bookend, highest rated show, second highest rated show, had a chilling thrilling in there in the middle, very highly rated. So I thought that was interesting. My very first show, I was not really a fan. I don't really know. Easily could be on my list as my favorite shows. July 23rd, 99, Polaris. Has even got the dinner and a movie treatment last year, but it did not even make the list. Because it was not, what to me truly was my first show, and what did make the list was U.S. Bank Arena. Let's just get started here. We'll start at number 8, I guess, because this is YouTube, and that's what people do with countdowns. We're counting down the top 8 shows that F Zappa 20 has attended. Left for a lot of the encores, though. Does that still count? I think it still counts. I was there. I heard the encore. One time I was like walking through downtown Chicago away from Wrigley listening to an encore. Not on the list, those Wrigley shows, however. So we'll start with number 8. Had to choose one from this Deer Creek '03 run. It was my first official, and still to this day, my only 3-night run at Deer Creek, 2003. And a run it was. Just about almost every Deer Creek show is going to deliver. I picked the middle night, July 22nd, '03. Had to split open and melt with like a big black furry creatures from Mars. Had a Carini in the first set where I swear I saw a bird commit suicide. And it wasn't the Carini that we now know and love. It was a different kind of Carini back then. Very agitated. Very aggro, this Carini. But I remember just absolutely loving it. And that being my favorite. Had a gumbo that night. I believe that was the gumbo Carini first set night. Yeah, the split open and melt. And probably still to this day, wow, big melt guy. And that's kind of a common theme with shows I went to, I noticed here. And then at number 7 on the list, much more recent, MPP, Merriweather Post Pavilion, August 12th, 2018. Tour closing show. Purposely chose that one to go to. Figured they'd be all fired up by there. And we would get with the remaining, maybe we didn't do this, maybe we didn't do that. Let's squeeze it all into this last show. Well, we got a lot of this show was Tweezer Reprise, and I kind of barely remember the context of that. Was it like they opened up the second set with it, they jammed it in Piper, they encored with it? I just said, it was like, did they play Tweezer and not play Tweezer Reprise like in a recent show? I don't even remember the context of that. It didn't even really look up, but I just remember it being a Tweezer Reprise fest. And I remember making my way up to the lawn late. I think we had a strong encore that night. It's rough when I can't roll out on the encores, man. It gets to me. I like to get out of there, man. I'm hoping for a more so I could just happily bounce. So on to number 6, Alpine '04. Not a lot of good stuff from '04, but I was fortunate enough and very lucky to get up there for these two shows. I believe it was a Friday and Saturday taking place at Alpine there in '04. Now, like I said, not a lot of good stuff in '04, but this one had a Boogie on Reggae Woman, a Free. Free is a big part of a lot of these shows I went to. And then just the first set didn't have a whole lot of a flow to it. We got a Sense and Subtle Sounds. We got an Access Me opener. Maybe still, I think they've only, perhaps only played Access Me twice after that. In the running for getting the only Access Me only, but unfortunately they let me down there. I do kind of like that goofy little song. Different era of mic riding. And then at number 5, now we're getting into the big time, man. My 5 favorite shows. The Nutter Center 2017. Maybe not necessarily the best show. Definitely not the best Nutter Center show even. But is what it did have was, had the Peaches. It had a Down with Disease. It had a Chomp Dust that night. I believe a Mountains in the Mist that kicked ass. It was like a hometown show. Had just right down there on the floor, man. Had great seats, the closest to the rail I've ever been. And then, in fact, some guy gave up his rail spot for me for the encore. Got to do the rail for Squirming Coil. So that just right there alone pretty much puts that show right into the top 5. July 18th, 2017. And then the Chilling Thrilling Night, October 31st, 2014 at the MGM, my one and only Halloween show. Still probably arguably one of their best Halloween shows, one of my favorite. Maybe a little biased because I was there, obviously. And there was like a ghost that night, maybe Frankenstein, the Halloween theme in. So it wasn't just the Chilling Thrilling set. The other two Phish sets were pretty solid as well. Then we go on to Blossom 2015. We get this like Chalk Dust Tweezer that just kind of, and that summer was so hot. But these two just come flying out of the gate in the second set. I think we got a big gin in the first set. Maybe oh man, I don't know, a winter or a wingsuit. We don't get a lot of wingsuits these days. Got that there in the first set, I believe. But then after, like I was saying, the Chalk Dust was a monster, the Tweezer was a monster, and then boom, they were not done. Come up, follow that with Lizards. Get a Hood later on in the set. They'll get, I believe, a Good Times, Bad Times encore. Again, great seats that night, way down on the front. Rough making my way out of there for that encore, but I did indeed try. Now we were on to number 2. This kind of feels like my first show. Like I said, I had been to a show in 99, went to a show in 2000, but I was full chomper at that point. Knew a couple of songs, just kind of went for the party environment. Didn't really care too much what was played. Wouldn't even have known what it was anyhow. U.S. Bank Arena, February 21st, 03. Now, the next night, probably, throughout the test of time, is probably a much better show. It had this bathtub gin. I was like, all right, they are back. Maybe one of the first mega moments they had when they came back in 03. But for me, it was the night before. Again, that was the first time the lights really hit me. There was this Mike's into a Free in the second set. They opened with Wilson, just complete powerhouse opener, getting everybody fired up. It was still a pretty great show. And that felt like that was my first, really. That's when they absolutely had me like, well, we got that guy. The lights during Free got him. And then my favorite show, that Alpine show in 2019, July 14th. A lot of July and August in here, boy. July, the U.S. Bank Arena in February. Then we got the Halloween show. We got a June Alpine 04. But other than that, well, that makes sense. Summer tour. I try to pick shows toward the end. I believe that Alpine, just like the MPP the summer before, if not the tour closer, very close to it. Got all kinds of busts out in the first set. I'm not really a big fan of that. Don't really care too much about a bust out, whatever. But a lot of these happen to be songs that were good to hear. And then got the Iculus in the second set. Got that Ruby Waves in the second set. All the madness going on with Contact and YEM. And never even bothered chasing Iculus. Just never thought it would happen. Got a Buffalo Bill again. The song, I don't know. I think I've got that like 4 times somehow. Been to 33 shows. Got 4 Buffalo Bills. The numbers just don't add up. All right, guys. So that's pretty much it. To recap, we got Alpine 19, number 1, the Ruby Wave show. U.S. Bank Arena, U.S. Bank Arena 03. Not the gin night, the first night, the Mike's night. Got a block, maybe no Weekapog that night either. The unusual Mike's with no Weekapog. Blossom in 15, the Chilling Thrilling night, the Nutter Center in 17. The Boogie On night from Alpine 04, and then in the Tweezer Reprise night from MPP 18, and then the middle night, the peanut butter to the peanut butter and jelly sandwich, I suppose, maybe. And that might be 4 nights. I'm not sure how that works. The middle night, Deer Creek 03. The night that bird jumped from the pavilion. There's like a bird's nest up in the pavilion or something. A couple minutes into that creenie. The bird maybe thought it could fly. I don't know. It was a youngling. It could not fly head first. Probably right into some wook. Boom, we're out of here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for suggesting. And I don't know. That's it. Thinking about giving you an elbow for the boom. We're under 10 minutes. We're out of here. I think that's 11.